Okay. You can hear exactly. Interference. Right. UK disabled being robbed, and that was on the 13th of this month, well, last month now, January 2022. Now, opposite to my flat, in my area is known as Northampton Police. Yeah, it's a limited company, and the trauma vets and streaming on both channels. This has to get out because it's demonic. You know, this is the way the world is, isn't it? Trauma-based mind control. Mind control. Mind control. So, mind control. UK Waking World, UK Waking World, and also Waking World Faith. Unlawful UK Hungary Limited Company is housing blocking 5-year disabled bathroom. So, two, being robbed, Northampton Police, a limited company, shared the two agents, especially which are national UK policy. UK Home Office statute law policy is you're meant to be informed before the body cameras are switched on. This is what I was robbed, not my home, but outside. Completely shocked and traumatised by it all. Everything was stolen in that bag. I can't repeat because it's too traumatising still. And that was the date of the first day, the 13th of the 1st, 2022. I'm physically disabled, use a wheelchair, in a wheelchair, can't walk. And the time when those police public servants come to my flat, I was still traumatised. They claim they're going to use a locksmith to drill the locks because the keys got pinched in my bag to the door, so I couldn't get in. I thought they meant well at first, until what I know now. I was totally in distress, unaware they were still filming inside my flat. Now, they wouldn't know the history of the 5 years, more than that, of the unlawful breach of contract by National Housing Company, Home Group Limited, locally, especially with the connections of Freemasonry. And I won't mention that because they are. They followed an all due process. I've done everything in honour lawfully for years, and I failed in every regard. I'll keep this short because I'm on a date on a different phone, so I'll keep this brief. In all these years known in my area, I was lied to and misled. March 2017 set up with the assumption of private life. I did 9 letters of rebuttals, cease and desist, libel and slander. I managed to do that fine, but that wasn't good enough for the perpetrators, and the organised gang stalking set up with the MK Ultra program, trauma-based mind control. I found that out by 2018 onwards to date. I've got keep diaries and journals of evidence who's done what, how and when to date. I wasn't aware until I was in this targeted program to 2018. When the setups of the psychological tactics happening in March 2017 didn't work for certain individuals in public office, and their connections with Freemasons and their lodges and their friends behind the scenes, demonically. It led to, I didn't know what home invasions were then. and well, it led to one of those, and that was July the 10th, well, just before the 10th of 2017, where they cut a flooring into a disabled bathroom. I didn't know at the time what a proper wet room or disabled bathroom should be like. Never needed one till I got one over in 2009 stroke 2010. Physically reduction my health from 2010. Still the same state. And therefore I report it as a minor repair to the lino covering on the floor in the bathroom. What led to date 5 years on is a major complete breach of contract in Home Group Limited. It's a national company, local agents in my area, and their connections with their contract company used to be known as Mighty Property Services Limited. It got bought out and turned to a new company known as MPS Housing Limited, and it's a national company, owns quite a few other companies in England. Mears Group PLC. You want to look at the company information, you can find that information out if you care to know more. Well, all the emails, correspondence, I was led to believe on the 30th of August that I would be a 3-day repair, got the email evidence of that. And they had the lino lifted, and they found that the wood underneath was rotten and black. I did not know what that could cause until Northampton Flooring Limited Company, its 2 men, had lifted the lino meant to be covering the shower disabled wet room part, that the rubber seal had not been fitted correctly since I moved in 2009, and it wasn't even lawful for a disabled wet room. And that began my nightmare with the housing subject. Well, it was before that, but this is on top. And therefore, I was implied that first, the flooring company, the floorboards or carpenter, the rotten wood would be lifted and replaced. It would only take a day. When the agent came to my home, they said they're not here to do the replacement of the floorboards, they're just to look at the floor, take photographs and go. I'd contacted the head office and the PA to female by email to find out why I was lied to, that the 3-day repair was not going to happen, and now I'm told that there might be a major job to be done. I was verbally told that the toilet needs to come out, the bathroom seat needs to come out, we might have to re-gut the whole flat. I was completely shocked by the end of August to find that out. By my correspondence and evidence I've got in emails, I was lied to. It didn't happen for 3-day repair, as it was stated in the right to repair and contract law, since of 13 years secure tenure renting this flat. That led to behind the scenes, I had no clue that there would be an individual male sent to look at the flooring, but he said he did that. He was making a report. It's like I don't know what type of report it was. It wasn't even a proper surveyor's report for these people that work in that industry in England, and it wasn't even independent. Next thing I know, a letter, wasn't even a report, it was a letter claiming everything needs to be gutted out. It's a major job, major works, I have to move out. In the terms of contract, and I just checked this out today, on the 4th of the 2nd, 2022 now, Friday, I did not know until today, it's not even the terms and conditions in the contract offer of 10 well, 13 years now, that I'll be offered compensation. I'll be offered funding for a hotel of my choice nearby. It needs to be in the terms and conditions of the contract that you're being offered, that would be offered. So therefore, your secure tenancy, renting your home, flat, house, what it may be, will not be then implied that you're going to lose that security or tenure of renting or contract law. If you voluntarily move out your home, so the offer of repairs will be done. It implied that I couldn't be living here while the repairs take place, implying they use my disabilities against me, claiming that because I can't leave you in a home without the use of a bathroom, i.e. toilet. I counterclaimed back and I said during 2017-18 that you can keep some wood safely, that is, with a couple of plants of wood on a temporary basis just for the day. My perpetrator neighbour, flat 7, had his new toilet fitted in within 1 day. He was not required to move out. If they can do that within less than a day's work, the plumber, they can do the same for mine. And work around put that in and put a new sink in, and they can work around those pieces of equipment to fit the new flooring. There's nothing wrong with underneath the flooring. The pipes works are safe, and you don't need to take the pipe work out. You just need to redo the tiling, and that is the tiler, and to just raise up the ceiling in the bathroom, i.e. side where the shower is, and to do that. So it takes a plumber's job, a carpenter job, and a tiler, whether it's a plumber that does the tiling as well, and maybe an electrician to check the shower unit out. So it doesn't need me to move out. They could easily do that within 1 week, and I was promised that within 2017. As they implied the financial implications of my personal situation, my physical equipment for my disabilities, and the physical impact of my care and my private life, and the cost on top, I did not consent to move out, as I've experienced before displacements when a former care company went bust in 2012, and I had horrendous displacements and experiences of mistreatment in public funded care homes in my area, 3 of them. It took me then a public law lawyer firm and my sister at the time to help me get home in 2012. That is when I began serious gang stalking, libelous comments, harassment, bullying, physical harm by certain public funded carers in my own home. By 2014, I had to dismiss them. Rejection of the offer by then Northamptonshire County Council Ltd Company, Adult Health Social Services Ltd Company, division within that company, public funded. I did not know at the time how all of those services work. I studied law ever since those dates to date. Therefore, it led to then they didn't like the fact I had my private life arrangements from 2004 to date, particularly a night of the past. Because then I'd had the shock of that letter of blocking the disrepairs and having to move out, and nobody offered independent support I'd sought. I was rejected those offers. In the beginning of 2018, throughout 2019, I did, and nobody would assist me because I found out I was a target individual. Doesn't matter whether I contact a national UK child equal shelter, national housing lawyers, public lawful right lawyers I contacted as a target individual, was told not to help me. even public funded ones. I got nowhere. So that's why I began to ignore myself and confirming that this targets program is global. My trauma-based mind control program is global. Target individuals is global, and it's been going on before I was born, so it's generational. So they had no intentions whatsoever for me to live here. Since I moved in here, I've got one neighbour. A neighbour lives at number 2, allegedly I'm going to output. He is behind all of this. He's got his connections. He started the libel and slander for the former neighbour, and I've got document housing records dated from 2010, 2011, where it began. I had 2 cats when I first moved in when I was able-bodied, and there was nothing wrong with them, and they were safe and fine. I had the lies and stand by the former tenant at number 7, Kyle White. He's now moved out. Don't know where he is. He's been paid off. He's married. He's elsewhere. And now that, excuse me, police informant has moved in at flat 7. Alleged police informant. There's a lot of underhanded darkness going on by this demonic bell run of this earth. I quote, that is demonic. It is a spiritual war too. And this is why they're on the attack with me, physically, on this earth right now. Again. Where are the decent public servants that have a heart? Where are the decent public servants that care? Where are the decent individuals that work in private companies care on earth? Not just for disabled, but the elderly too. And what about those that lost their jobs, their homes during the past 2 years too? All of the health crisis going on in the world. And other people. And that's why I began learning what my God-given rights are. And I don't like that because I just share knowledge and facts for first-hand evidence. Well, after the heart attack and stroke of the shock in 2017, I ended up having my door kicked in. My then daughter-in-law witnessed what happened to me, and I know that was direct energy technology used in my body. I didn't know it then, I do now. The door got busted in then. It took this housing company 5 months during that winter period to get my door replaced and a whole new door fitted. It's not great, is it? And it wasn't done by me. And then, you see, as soon as I wasn't even physically disabled when the former 2011, 2012, 2013 occupation therapy reports I had done at the time implied this housing company agents, same ones locally still working, even refused those occupation therapy reports. Even minor adaptations to the door frames, saying it wouldn't be suitable, it create too much structure change within the flat. That's before 2017. Yeah. So I stayed here. I had that procedure already. I went through, known as housing needs assessment procedures and local public servants then, and all the claim of places to move to had to reject because they wouldn't meet the size for a 1-bedroom for me, my medical equipment, and within my location. It's a bidding system. Hi Tanya, how are you? So therefore, I'd stayed put. Now, they didn't like that, did they? So the last place all those years ago, my late mum was offered was a bungalow, and she said to me at the time, why on earth were you offered that bungalow to move to in 2012/13 because it wasn't big enough for her, let alone me and my medical large equipment, and that's why I stayed put. So I have been gaslighted, targeted ever since to be pushed out of this flat. And they've made it completely impossible to live here. But I'm still here, but I won't be very soon. I shall be homeless. I don't know where I'm going because I've got nowhere to go to. The unlawful presumptions being made about my psychological health, and they're making assumptions about my ability to make decisions. They're literally all behind this is UK Home Group Limited Company, head office in Newcastle, local area offices, employees, men and women, and a certain individual who knows his connections in Freemasonry, and he lives opposite me, as said before. And implying again, and they're using the assumptions about not repaired my wet room. Why now, suddenly, after 5 years? And don't forget they have been using the report of the failures of the adult health social care claimed to be assessment of needs had failed, and the report confirms this, dated 17th of April 2019. As I said, that's by the local government health and care ombudsman services. Head office is in Coventry in England. His report confirms a woman called Susan had lied about me specifically, said I can walk, said I don't need my hoist, said I don't need my occupation medical aids, and I'm making it all up. And we're not convinced she's got the medical aids enough that. Thank you, Tanya. And therefore, when I saw that date or her comments dated the 10th of March 2019, I lost trust in all public servants in my area, and she's connected to. She was very much connected to the set-up of the mental health card throughout 2017. She is now still employed, and she is setting up the local government shared services law limited to do to private liberty assumptions about my ability to make a decision, and to go to such a law Ministry of Justice, head office in London, but the area offices is based in Birmingham, to make a court protection order against my private life, to take control over my finances, medical treatment, health care, housing, and to force me to take a medical procedure against my will, of the jab in the arm, was against my choice, and also to be acting as a power of attorney. Really? And therefore, with the backing of getting me robbed and set up on the 13th of the 1st, 2022, on that Thursday, was done by the local Freemasons, backing up with the Northamptonshire Police, public servants, demonic individuals. To make it out look like to be a genuine robbery, I was absolutely in psychological shock and trauma, unaware. If I wasn't like that, I would have told those public servants to be on the common law over office, where's the warrant cards, and turn their body cameras off. I do not consent to be filmed. I was not able to. I was psychologically completely shot, just like the events of when I suffered attempted murder in 2002. Trauma, all over again. I'd had the offer of escorted home by one female, and I was informed that that male, PC 944, he would make sure that the get locksmith to drill up my locks or not smash the door in. I got home to find I was still in shock. There was 2 police cars, that was that male, and there's 2 other blokes. And hi, Murray, how are you? Yep, and also to make me homeless now, Murray. The email today, 12 o'clock, is to threaten me. Now we've taken my flat off me of 13 years and to make me homeless. And I shall face what I've just quoted here in the bio bottom description, particularly since the police have used the body camera when I was robbed. They were inside my flat, ringing the emergency out of hours to get the door made safe at 2:30 a.m. on the 13th of the 1st, 2022. And that footage has gone over to Home Group Limited Company, locally, their Freemason connections. So they had a clear view on my lounge, my private dwelling, without consent, shared. And what they're doing on the disguise in public health, in their public roles, you say, right, is adult safeguarding due to my physical disabilities, right? I have wondered why they had cold called at my private flat on Monday, the 17th of January 2022. I didn't open my full door then, and they had my phone number, temporary one, and they had the email, and they could have posted a letter. They advised me that they were going to check on the CCTV and invited me to do a statement. They never come back to me since. And they've never emailed, and they've never sent a letter. It was staged. So therefore, you look at the dates of that, and you look at the date to date. It didn't take long to refer presumptions about adult safeguarding policy by the police using on me. Now they've got the police enrolled, and that's the stage to break in my door. And so housing will use that as assumption now to go to the court to seek possession of eviction, and that takes 4 weeks. Okay, maybe sooner. And this is how sick they are doing to me, Murray, now, and Tanya. So therefore, they can't seem to be looking at the public generally, but they cover themselves up, don't they? They will go to now this woman is implying for me to call her. No, they did this trick to me before in 2017 to traumatise me even more. They're keeping a record of everything. They always have. And so therefore, where the hell do I go? Now, my son hasn't bothered to contact me at all. I've just seen a post on Twitter I sent you, Tanya, in the Telegram group on your private message, a picture of him and my granddaughter. They look happy, don't they? I thought that my son had suffered a bereavement through his ex-so-called wife of her sister dying of cancer. How come it's less than 2 weeks and all look so happy together? Yeah, right. So when I got all this time, he's used my finances for 2 years I built up, just in case this happens to me, to hire somebody with a van to be able to stuff the things in and to somehow finance a storage unit to put my stuff in. I ain't got that funds now. I've got 400 quid to my name to last me the month. And let alone the direct debits coming out of the bank. So I've got that to cover, so I'll have about 300 and something left. And then the DWP want to take off all my benefits. When you have changed circumstances, you move out, they will take all my disability benefits off of my physical disabilities, that's present dependence. That will affect all my rent. That will affect all my council tax rebate discount. That will affect the ESA support group rate. That will affect everything. And I'll be forced to start all over again like I did in 2018. And I'll be left with nothing. All my belongings they're using this assumption as a health and safety risk now. Of course it's bloody as I know that. But the problem started in the fault lays at the door of this National Housing Company's agents blocking all the repairs. Now they're trying to, any logical individual. I said in 2017, evidence of emails and letters I've got says, first it was a 3-day repair. You take up the lino first, and then you just get a carpenter to come out and just refit new planks of wood. That's all needs to be done. Suddenly, then it wasn't done, and then the bloke says, "Oh, now we might need to replace the toilet." Why? Oh, there's a small crack at the bottom of the basin. Right, the plumbing's fine. Then they're saying something about the basin sink. Right. Then they're saying about the tiles. But because it's 5 years of water on the floorboard, it's affected my health and it's affected me safely. They only made safe the floorboard, and guess what they did? Instead of doing the job properly in a 3-day period, one of the guys turned out, the carpenter, said, "I'm not here to actually do the job. I was only told to look at it and measure it up." So I called out of hours up, and all the guy turned up and said, "All I've got on board my van is a piece of plywood." He drilled the plywood on the watered black floor, okay, and it's been like that since to date. So it's been smelling and stinking out, and I keep it clean as possible, and I can't use a bloody bathroom. I have to be washed out of bloody buckets for 5 years because of their negligence. I'm camping in my own flat, where they move perpetrators in at flat 7, flat 9, and that stupid demonic you know what at number 2 and number 3, and goodness knows what. And yet number 7, when he gets a new toilet recently, he doesn't need to move out. They fit it in one day. Thank you, Tanya. We got, I think there's 2 trolls, John something. Right, Tanya? If you got the wrench, just time them out, because I don't know if they're genuine by the comments. Thank you. So, yeah, and there's paper trail evidence of this. And why do you think I got robbed? They wanted the door keys. So that was all part of it for housing. Then all the belongings in that, well, the phones, they were just going through. I mean, this was just deliberate to get the body footage of my flat. Because leading up to all this was last year, for example, we just want to do a condition survey report or future plan works. I've just read out the terms and conditions of my contract. I sought clarification before. Could you send me a copy of your national policy where it states on what date your future plan works for this area is due and whereabouts? I never got a response of that. It was a point to get my flat to see the condition of it. Okay, so this is how far-fetched it goes. So they have to use a national company, Ministry of Justice Limited, to make up lies about my ability to make a decision. Oh, what? Hold on. Goes back to compensation offer 14 grand. Oh, hold on. Anybody that lives in England knows how it works, the benefit system. If you have over 6 grand savings, which I don't, but look back to the offer up to 6 grand today over these past years for what happened to me in 2002. Apparently, if one has over 6 grand, that means everything stops anyway. And I can see the logic, but nobody told me years ago that, especially since I got ill and physically went over and I'm well that way, that if I took that payment, it means I'm affected by everything anyway. And I wouldn't actually see any of it because it'd be backdated from the date of taking the offer and to the year of 2002. So I'll end up owing more than 14 something grand or 18 grand, whatever it was total. But the public servants in London knew but I was going to have attempted murder on me somehow, goodness knows how, and I was a part of a national case. I can't go to the press. I can't highlight this to get any justice, what's going on right now, again, because all those years ago they slated me in the national media. Because that serial killer, the way he was very demonic and possessed. And what happened to these dead victims' families. But rightly so, one of the dead victims' family, they had £100,000 payout for the loss of their daughter, and rightly so. And they got all the justice they needed because who? Her dad, all due respect, no disrespect to them personally, were part of the Freemasons, I found out. The Illuminati, the dark occult, and that's what it's all about. So, just because Stuart can pull strings, just because he got an £80,000 car sitting outside, just because he's, ever since I moved here, I knew about his private life and what he's been doing all these years before I moved here. But I don't speak about him. I don't slander anyone. I don't say nothing. But he does it always, ever since I moved in, to everybody around here. I don't give a shit what people think about me or says about me, because I know I'm better. You know, I'm brought up differently than these demonic entities that sell out. So, point being is now to make me homeless with no physical place to live, and they can't physically do it in the sense of like public servants. The only option they have now is to force me into, as I said before, of lies and deception. Let me just read your comment, Mary. Bear with me. I am a much mentally and physically, but this sounds awful what's happening to you, Claire. I wish there's something I could do, Claire. Be wise with your money this month, but try to stay positive. I'm finding it impossible. I don't normally find it impossible, me, Murray. You know, I'm talking to you on the phone. I'm sorry to hear of what you two are all going through and what you're going through. I don't know what to do. And that troll can go. I'll watch this whole video back to see what's happening, but stay positive and hopefully things will turn out better. How? How, Murray? I have you in my prayers tonight. Much love to you both. Thank you. Thank you. Blessings to you too. So evil. I take no blessings to you. I've been made homeless by this gaslighting program. And you see what they did to so many good people. So many people. And I will not be pressed the buttons. They want these buttons to be pressed. So the psychological program tactics. Yeah. So many people, right? I found out yesterday that the woman who works in a smaller casino outside nearby, and she is married to the one place I got set up years ago. And you see Stuart at number 2. He introduced me to this bigger casino 2015, 2016. And I saw a lot of undercover police off duty doing stuff. Took no notice. Got to know a couple of nice people there, but Stuart was sucking up to the very rich people, very well-known Freemasons. He was bragging about it all to me, right? and he was on disability benefits himself, claiming can't work, has got bad legs. Suddenly they found him fit for work. So he panicked and he got his mum up and then claimed to be his carer, her carer. No disrespect to the lady, I don't know her. And this is his claim. Then he had a fake girlfriend, alleged fake girlfriend. Oh, can't imagine the stage, because he wants a flat for her. But it's not a girlfriend, allegedly. And then other stuff I've noticed he's been doing. So he's now very much controlled, and God rest her soul, whatever she really is, this so-called mother. And there's no real guarantee it really is. He suddenly came into extreme wealth. He's going to go to hell with that, already, isn't it? So he's made his connections. He started in 2000 and what I noticed in 2000, I noticed this the year 2001. The pub where I used to live, he used to go in there and he used to chat up the owner of the bar, and he was a lorry driver. He used to do a lot of stuff which I won't repeat here, and I witnessed firsthand, like other individuals have too over the years, and certain nature I won't repeat here. So of course I had no idea that he lived here in this area when I moved in, and of course he hated the fact that I've known a lot of his past secrets, the dodgy stuff, and I do not even speak about it, talk, anything. I just know. And of course, that's where all the libel slander began to the neighbours about me, and then to the housing employees. And then, obviously, by the year 2020, he got very, very much involved with the Freemason lodges and the members, and especially the Master Masons, and especially the police. And he bragged about, I'm now very pally, very good mates with the chief of police. He made that point very clear. I got that audio, but it was on my former phone that now I can't get into. That's years ago. So we're now 2022, 2 years on. He has been instrumental behind all this, and his connections. He controls, and this is how it works in this area is too much. He makes it clear, who is moved in, who gets moved out, and how they're set up to get moved out and use their homes. I've seen it firsthand. There's another female on the corner here. She is a witch. She really is a demonic witch in the sense of the cabal, how they use their dark magic, if that makes any sense to anyone. And I never thought that Stuart had in him. But he changed in the year 2000. He was reasonably okay with me. He started complaining about my carriage years ago. All these subtle things now I know from 2018, mainly 2019, he started being hostile. The neighbours that used to talk to me stopped and being hostile. So whatever he got his buddies to falsify on their reports online about me worked, and it still is to date, and the housing. Yes, awaken, stay strong, the strength. I am here for you. Thank you, Tanya. I don't know how. I really don't. I've been traumatised enough. I've been traumatised enough. They want me to give up. Okay. Right, on WhatsApp, there's another TI woman. She's, I don't know if she charges, I hope not, because I haven't got no money to pay me. What I've got, like Murray says, so I have to make it last. I've got basic feeling. And the point is, Tanya, is they met the way I'm let down by my son. Oh, I had to save and saved up to hire, to pay for a van to get my flat, boxed up what I can, and then look to see where I could put things in storage. And then when he gets what he wants, it's all one-sided, and I think he's also you having this mind control effect on him, like you said before, Tanya. I think they've got to him a long time ago, and I got all his evidence from 19th of March 2021. I think he's also been TI because I've got evidence of things that's happened to him. And also, on the same note, he's been used also to get at me and to use me. And it is a bit of both of them. They're doing a different, perhaps, type of program. But he's got mobility car, he's out with his daughter. I think he has to do what he's doing to me because of his daughter. I think they've got to. The police did warn him of me, you know, and I remember when they did that in 2015, I think, 16, and when he came up to see me when I got threatened, and he went up to that neighbour, and I didn't know, but targeted subject to 2018, and that former neighbour, they were paid. She was an ex-care leaver. She got in with a bloke and had two kids by him. And the family hovered around the girl, and the mother, all the family and their friends kept gaslighting her. That was the ones that used to live at number 9. The other guy, that the guy that took over the flat for a short time, was, I believe, the TI, but he poured into the program, wouldn't play along. So they busted his flat and set him up. There's loads of police that set him up. Then after that, a new individual, females, moved in, and it's allegedly used as a you-know-what place. Okay? And then number 3 is flat 3 is definitely used. She's an ex-care leaver and she's been used. But it's not so obvious because she's been driven out places to do certain things. And the whole family, and they staged an event there with the police and everything else that went on. Right, all the works, everything, just for my benefit, thank you. And then of course they've got someone in a flat right opposite me doing whatever. Now, flat, the one that used to do my meditation CDs, he no longer speaks to me. He's the one gaslighting me yesterday as well. The orange bag, all the MK Ultra colours. And then that's Ash, because the other day he knocked on my door about something. Oh, just after I got robbed. He knew I got robbed. I got the audio evidence of what he did and said. He says, "Oh, could you just take pictures or something, and then email me them?" What? Or what? So I was busy dealing with all the BS I got on my plate. And I emailed him. I said, "What was it you wanted?" He never did get back to me by email. So he gaslights me a week later. There's nothing new because he got set up on International Day of Target Individuals in 2019. And I know the very people who stitched him up and the mental health guard. And his family in London are very much part of the cabal of this satanic, dark occult. And the sort of things I found out by him about his own family. yeah, sadly. And so then you have years ago, his whole family is gaslighting me, and the trouble with the drugs, and smashing his window up and everything falling outside my window, Kirk. They got him out the flat. He magically kept his flat after what I went through, and he was sent away for rehabilitation uh, for his alcoholism. And ever since then, he's become very pally with Stuart number two, and he's been too quiet. So he's been brought into the program to gaslight me. He used to help me to paint and do some DIY stuff as a friend. It's a long time ago now, and no longer. Yes. So, what's that? Yes, understand that this program making they do that to all GIs. They've done so much to my family. It never stops inside of that telling your loved ones to awaken. They get a high out of hurting us. Yeah. Oh yes. What are you gonna? I really. They know exactly. This is what the. This is what the ultimate game is. As I'm highlighting, is this to make me homeless? I might not spell my words correctly. Oh, what am I meant to do? They've hacked my computer, Tanya. It's broken. My laptop that doesn't close. I can't use that. How do I stay positive? So you Freemasons, you're calling demonic demons and souls of these public servants, right? You went against my authority. You didn't have any consent to share my data of the footage of the trauma. That's what boils down to, and why the email as well, and why to stir up things for 5 years when they haven't bothered to first you would have thought the housing would individuals would make sure I get a new door and a proper lock for my safety. No. Instead they focus on getting me out and making me homeless. And if I don't, it's nothing in the terms and conditions of this contract I've had for 13 years. Number 13 now. And there's nothing. All this old house I had 20 years happened when they broke in. The thugs, the three blokes, had something like a knife on them. But that was I know now that was to get me out of that building, of my 3 bedroom house. And how I was ended up in emergency accommodation for my life, protecting my life then. And that was done. I didn't know how big this program and how long it's been running. It's been going for. So of course, what I know of all these key people from years ago who are now head of the Masonic lodges, especially in my area, and two are very head of the. You don't get head of just because you're good at your job. No, well, please don't get me wrong. Sometimes you do, but specifically, the what kind of they've sold their souls out, haven't they, to get ahead in their job? And my family member my elder brother. He knows the certain individual who's got a political connection, his position in the council across the road. Well, their buildings there, but they have meetings ever so often. My own family, I knew this a long time ago, but I know their connections. You see, none. This is a part program, isn't it? No one. They make sure you have nobody to assist you. I've got, no matter when I went to years ago, right, get this housing matter sorted. I went to lawyers, got nowhere. As soon as I sent information, documents, evidence, emails, all that effort, suddenly got an email, we can't help you. It's a pattern. You're denied. The information they falsify about an individual on whatever records are deliberately, demonically done to falsify about the individual. So you are returned down from every bit of support or help. Even things I've learned to how to do things myself. Very capable. And it comes to my own security, my tenure. That's the last thing they can attack. Financially, God advise. You know, I know my coming to the first room I had on. I was totally didn't know what to do. The shock, you know, trauma, isn't it? So recently, the DWP wanted, oh, we're now going to pay. I did wonder why it all happened on as soon as I got robbed. Oh, we're changing how we pay your benefits. So the post office account's closing. Post office limited company offer. DWP limited company, its offer. The payments come out. How the monetary system works. The financial system is going to collapse anyway. But it's all about control. And the thing is, this is what I've got my documents. I cannot temporarily move out this place, you know. And where else can I move to properly in the longer term? Correct support. I'm not getting it, you know. The lawful contract, goods and services offers everything. Everything I know has not worked. Everything I've done in honour and lawfully and respectively has not worked because they make sure that. So it labels me as incompetent in the system's eyes. Deliberately. So what? I don't care what labels they want to use that I don't have. I'm very competent and capable. How's that me playing this back and hacked to my computer so I can't see nothing? So they've got to it's like the ultimate, isn't it? They've got to trigger you. And they're sitting in that flat, 7. Bugged a flat, laughing their heads off, get feeding off the negativity. How can I break out of this negativity? This is trauma. They know it anyway, it's trauma-based mind control, isn't it? And it's all good unless you see the beautiful people out there that don't realise they are. And they also go through what I'm going through. Okay, I know this business. Right, I'll show you the video. Pissed off with it. Okay, drink water. Alright, let's show you my bathroom. How's that been monitoring all my contacts and everything else I do? I need a hot drink. This is my medical equipment like you said I didn't have in my flat. This is the state they left me to live, right? One hoist. Right over in that corner, those are these sheets I have to protect the floor with. And right in the corner is where they took up the lino off the floor. Underneath was a black wooden floorboard, rotting and splitting. Then they said, why can't they work around this toilet with the floorboards? You know, they're meant to put new flooring, okay? The cardboard flooring. So the skirting boards, well, do they need to be replaced? They look fine. So, and this plastic unit underneath, there's a sink basin, that's fine. All you need to get is perhaps the seal at the back of it. This toilet basin is not cracked and it's fine. Might need to easily replace the toilet lid if I want to, and perhaps they need to reseal the bottom of the toilet because they refuse to repair the wood, replace the wood planks, you know, which the previous lady before I moved in, they must have realised it wasn't built. That's meant to be a disabled level access shower. They got the drainage part there, but it was never built lawfully, and they said after refusing to repair the basics, they said now we need to gut it all out and fit a new wet room. They will not do that because it costs too much. The tiles underneath may be redoing. So it's plastering, tiling. And behind me, it's like a corner in the hallway they refused to even repair. But I had a Russian friend who replaced and did a temporary repair. And then 2012 and 13 in the hallway behind me, like a corner wall, they refused to put a wheelchair height kick plates, they're called. The OT report said would put in. They refused to do that. They've always wanted me out of this place, you see, Tanya. Oops. So when the police come in and I'm in my wheelchair, let me make sure that window is closed. Right? I show you. This is wheelchair height sort of thing. Okay. I'm messing about my connection now. Right. So the OT reports originally, what it meant was cutting a bit into this wood. Right. That part there. And this part here. So I wouldn't catch in my wheelchair going through and the medical equipment in that bedroom and into the lounge and back, transferring. Okay. So that got refused. Minor repair, minor attachments, disability attachments, they call it. And they refused to do an upgrade on my kitchen. You know, I'm sorry to go on, but they put heating on. This is all done by some heating. What sick demons are you? You know, these demonic entities, and it doesn't look great when somebody doesn't know what my situation is. Right, with my manual wheelchair in the lounge, The stuff from the bathroom that should be in there is in my lounge, safely put, by the way. Yes, so for those that don't know me, would one look on this in a body camera and see my private belongings the way they are, would make an assumption. So why does anybody come to me in the first place and say, we have concern of your flat? Public servants working for Northamptonshire Police, Northampton, UK? No, excuse me. Instead, make up false information about me and my situation. Maybe. Who knows what's ever said? I don't really give a two hoots, to be honest. Who said what? Such Chinese whispers. But I am concerned about my right to life, human rights, right to private life. It does not help living like this. I'm going to see a bit of paperwork everywhere. Not everywhere, but in specific areas. I couldn't even give my things away that I don't use anymore. I couldn't even give it away to charity shops. And the larger items, I can't even recycle. Do you want me to bloody well just... I shall eat some melon, that's meant to be good for radiation poisoning. Thank you for the noise campaign, so You cannot make this up. It sounds like a movie, doesn't it? It sounds like a fantasy movie, perhaps. Who knows? You demonic possessed entities in the souls of men and women doing this to so many people worldwide, not just to me. With my diaries, I have dates, times, what companies, who buy, what's going on. Wow. You've seen the bigger picture though, it's not just me, is it? There are those that are waking up, like, in a spirituality point of view. And from past experience, all this, I know it's all deliberately done. Because the point is, though, in a bigger picture, they see anyone waking up to this bigger picture and awareness of how long this program's been going on and what they're doing, how they're doing it. Not in every regard, but a rough idea. And as a threat, but to who? What, big corporations? What, bricks and mortar? Because you can't be a threat to a company. And if there's alleged threat to to an individual, that needs to be proven by common law. Where's the offence in common law that I've done anything to anyone else, another human individual? And if there's an assumption that you're in a breach of contract, well, that's contract law. And nobody can be forced, not another individual has an authority of another. Government and govern, it's by the consent of the individual. And what has come to the point is that everything now, which I now know, and especially in the documents typed and everything else, that's why they've gone and damaged my computer. They have damaged a hard drive. It's not just a hacking in. I found the password to put in for this phone connected, and who this phone's really hacked. But the soul, the human soul, these dark times, the human soul is what they're after. If it can't be corrupted in the sickness there is on this earth, unfortunately, and you don't go along with their demonic globalist plans, well, like Mary Smith says, and others, we don't deal with the flesh and blood. Mum, and still can't believe it all these years. Well, this is it, Tanya. This is it, Tanya. It's like you have that awakening and you suddenly become known. But the whole life has been, it's just like a one Truman show. The whole life, your whole existence on this earth, you're born into this. We were targeted since birth. I saw someone's dream about this. Whether it's a post or website or a stream on a certain social media. And it said that we're targeted. I think it could have been a ministry, a spiritual church stream quotation. And it says something like that we're targeted since conception in the womb, which really was what? So in a sense that would make that I couldn't find the quote, otherwise I would have quoted it. I just remember bits of it. That my late mum was targeted, and the programme has been going along for a long, long time. And the technology, much, perhaps even further than that. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. Jesus died on the cross for our sins. The Son, the Father, the Lord, Jesus Christ. And he was a target individual, wasn't he? And one of those motivational videos I've done earlier history. And I was reading the comments, and it said it straight like that. All those centuries ago. And then I saw another link about England. William the Conqueror. And all those bloodline French European conquered England 1066 century in 1066. I never knew that. I didn't really pay much attention about that education at school in that part. So the whole of England is run by Jews, the Jewish bloodlines, and so they put on a foreign head of state. A king of England was a foreigner from Europe. Now, I'm not sure it was actually from Normandy or France. And there was all those battles. I mean, you think about Christianity, all those battles in the name of, like, the Catholic Church has never really been true. England, mainstream Church of England has never been English since 1066. And the Magna Carta of 1215 is being demolished. I don't know if it's been reinstated. But when I saw that in the Wikipedia page, I looked at it and I thought, what? And then I saw that email today. Awaken. There are heaps of us in the world. What about all the targeted individuals? Yes. Well, this is what. Good point. Good point. I'm still here. You're still here. We're still trying, aren't we? Thank you for bringing me back to Earth. That's a good point. Because that's what they hope I do. That's what they're triggering my buttons. And I wonder why these perks are hopping around inside, outside, like a yo-yo. At flat 7, then flat 9, then bloody well in and out the back door earlier when I was really distressed. They're not as bad right this minute, obviously, but it certainly was earlier, Tanya. The attacks are so bad. So what they do, all those beautiful lost souls, and God bless those spirits, and send these guardian angels around all of us in this world going through this hell. You know what you say like that? I don't know if it's because I've got a conscience and these demonic reptilian demons have not. They don't know what a blinking, they don't know what it is. They don't know how, when you do the research in history, they don't know. The frequencies are so bad. They're working on 6G now. Our humanity on this earth is at risk. Every minute of the day. This earth is not made for us that have a conscience, that are not falling to the darkness of the cabal. And this earth. And this is why they keep doing what they're doing. To break our souls down, to break our spirits down, to keep in to the darkness. The darkness, I tell you, Tanya, it's so thick and dark. It's more than black shades, it's much, much darker. I sense their demonic nature around me when I'm out. So strong. Is it because I was born to the light? I was born into the ability to read through people, but my skills I lost a long time ago when that guy did what he did to me. The repeated traumas, the repeatedness, it creates that disassociation. And that's what they want to monitor, neuromonitoring, isn't it? They've got to see how the brain disassociates when trauma after trauma. you know? And then they got to alter the frequencies in the brain to put more pressure, more trauma in that individual's life. And yes, like you say, when people have that B2K, for example, and like Robert Duncan, oh, is it Robert Duncan? Like he explains in others, like Brian Chu explains, this is, I'm playing in the hands of repair. I'm right now, it's what they want me to do. It's to stream, to talk about it. Because the brain cannot switch off. The trauma's too bad. You know, it's too much. I know about coping strategies I've learned a long time ago, which I'm focusing on. And this is what they do, isn't it? They use triggers. The triggers of, you can't change what's happened in the past, you can only deal here and now. You can't know what's in the future. And I'm very good at, I know all certain things, okay? And I know exactly who is doing what and who's behind things. And like you say, I cannot mention about these specific subjects to anyone because you know what the end game is in that regard, no matter where you are in the world. And so I always trust, like mine said before, trust you in the spirit. Like my late mum would say, trust your gut feeling. And it's the bloody police. This is how sick and deep it goes. To work together behind the scenes with the Freemason connections and get me robbed. They're desperate. Oh, I must be popular then to be on the, especially in this area, to be on the #1 list, to be completely torn apart on a practical sense. You see, I had all this years ago. Yeah. Do you know, they didn't paint me to survive. That guy trying to kill me with his hands on my throat. They didn't expect me to survive the trauma and all the media attention and the breaking of my own house because of it all. I had to change my birth given name by default by 3 times. And yes, I've always known I need to move because of the demonic atmosphere around it, you know. But that's why I saved up for 2 years. 2 years, and then my son, oh, just send me this and just send me that. He paid back half, but it's left me lower down, not ability to save up like I had been. Yet I appreciate the skills that I've learned about self-discipline and the monetary system. I'm very capable, you see, of budgeting, of managing my affairs. It's all to do with housing, blocking repairs. That's all. That's all it's about on the practical side. So anyone coming into my home will see the state of the condition of my flat and report it as a concern. And it's not stopped. And how can I keep bloody responding to this? But it's not my fault. And when I deliberately got failed by the people I just quoted earlier, you know, there's a hotel around the corner. I offered to move there in 2018. They can pay half and I'll pay half at the time. And that got rejected. When I had met them in the middle, and my suggestions are counterclaims being rejected. And they put it back onto me again. What? So anyone out there logically might hear this, especially in England. What logical human rights lawyer wouldn't want to jump down on this case and take this company and its agents to book and sue their arse off, not just for monetary gain, but the violations in every regard, not just on disability, you know? Because there's quite a few elements in this. You've got the disability discrimination, you've got the human rights violations, you've got the breach contract, and then you've got the health and safety, putting me at risk, you know? But no. When you target individual, no, you're blocked. Oh, you're the problem, and you're this, and you're that. You're not engaged. This is what they're doing again, see? The terminology is used. You're not engaged. She's not engaging. I've read out the documents that they use in people in my situation who makes assumption. It's all contract law. So they make the assumptions. She's not engaging with services. We did our best, and all these key terminology words. It's wordplay. It's psychological wordplay. So when I'd looked up and all these definitions, found the policies, I thought, here we go. I know where this is leading, and here we are today. Anyway, I don't really wish I own my own place, but like Ellen, artist Ellen in America said, he's got a tiny home. And I wish there was a magical wind, that I could just pack my bags and just leave it behind. Just pack a great big backpack and just somehow just get on a plane to America, where it is, and go to the tinier house. But I don't have a passport. Do I grow a pair of wings and fly, Tanya? Or do I become I'm being persecuted. Do I be a female version of Brian Chu, travel around? But I physically cannot do that. My sense of my disabilities. And I'll tell you, goodness me, if I had the skills and abilities, I would damn bloody well be finding a job, any job. I'll be working all hours to find any job, to not be relying on any system, any system. I would be living in a bloody shared bloody house if I have to. Because my late mum years ago taught me all this, how to survive with nothing. And we'll keep going, somehow. Where's my body camera, please? Should I ring up 101 number and say, oh yeah, by the way, did you share my data to my housing company? But if I do that, in their eyes, in their recording, would imply it looked like a paranoid. It would just be so ridiculous, but I don't do things like that because I know how their system works. Seriously though, they're building these concentration type camps. Tanya, I've seen alternative media again yesterday. Oh my goodness me, they're getting ready, and I knew they were going to use this flat with the assumption of public health. Oh look, health and safety risk I didn't cause. Public health I haven't caused. To make an example, I just feel like grabbing £100, go to the casino and blowing it all, and then going to the tallest car park and just shout, "You F off, you demons!" But I won't. I just feel like that because I put in all these thoughts in my head. But I know what to do in this negative situation is to put on a Christian movie and to focus another day And what they did years ago, in the dark hours, I had once your mindset is open up to truth, you can't go back. Because I remember a period, 2007, I was at that beach. I was at that wall of beautiful water, plashing against a beautiful sea, beautiful area. And I took myself off with the first £1,000 I had given to me, compensation, when I was able-bodied years ago at my birthday. Beautiful Italian restaurant. And all these people I met all these years. And I chose not to be pulled to the dark side of the world. I started realising the people I was mixing with, the sickness of what I saw, and the innocent young girls, what I saw, what was happening, and the drugs, what they were being pushed upon them. And I knew the well-known people I mixed with, and I knew that was very shallow. They just wanted me for my perfect image I had at the time. And my instinct kicked in that I had to make sure I broke away from it all. All that money, power, and connections wasn't me. I wasn't raised that way. I could have been very, very wealthy by now, a different life altogether, and not be in the situation I'm in. But I made a decision years ago to keep away from London life and to break contact with all those people and to keep out the public eye and to make sure I put my kids first. And that's what I did. And when I started uncovering by chance so much darkness in my area and who was involved, that began my downturn in my personal situation. And I think those people, powers that be, knew that I knew stuff which I never talked about to anyone. And that's when I don't know how, it's just my gut feeling tells me, how could you let out a serial killer out of his day release at Mental Health Hospital in South London to travel on a train all the way up to my area? And then, because I never ever would offer anything personal, if you know what I mean, only straight up training reflexology, and because I refused, you know what, that's when I was attacked. I had to fight him off. I couldn't. He's trying to kill me, crushing my head against the wall, strangling me. And his eyes turned green. The police years ago said to me, I don't know how you survive. I don't today, still. But I did, and I'm still here. So, my late mum taught me a lot when I was younger. I didn't appreciate it when she passed away. To find that inner strength to keep going, you see. Because it's so easy for those demonic, now I know how they can twist your mind and use frequencies and use the buttons on your trauma to plan out the next process of this program. And I've prayers to all those affected, living and past, because the struggle is non-stop, and no matter what happens, I will keep going the best I can. I'm not going to succumb to these demonic energies, I call it. And good job I write things down, because anyone goes through trauma, then whatever it might be, it's good to write it down if you can. Keep a journal. And my My late mum, when I was 16, gave me my first journal, and I've always been writing ever since. And I've got a collection of journals. I mean, my memory is so clear in a lot of things. The specifics and details of things I remember is crystal clear. And when my son got hit by a car when he was younger, and he flew up in that air with a bike, push bike, and that woman was on a mobile phone, the old-fashioned phones at the time, and didn't stop at the traffic lights so he could cross over. All his mates got across fine, but he got hit head on, head in that windscreen. He got straight away to hospital, and I swear to God he got implanted a long time ago. He survived, and I know, and I swear to goodness, because at the time I wasn't so much into spirituality as much, but I swear to goodness that when he described to me this out-of-body experience, you know, he saw himself laying down on that table. He was only 7. What kind of 7-year-old would be able to describe that? So I've always been open to the strict upbringing and then spirituality and life itself. And I was able to coach him back to psychologically heal physical bones. Nose, arm was healed eventually. Scars across the road I helped him overcome. And he got compensation in the end. And my daughter felt I was putting too much concentration on him. So our relationship broke down. She ran to my older brother. Really sad it was. I had connections in my journalism as a member of the journalism union at the time through an ex-male friend. He was in the media, and he got me my card, and he had connections in the courts and stuff. And we tried our best to get my daughter off the clutches of my older brother. It didn't work. I called the police and everything then, and they said, "Oh, we can't do anything. She's 14 years of age and she can make her own mind up." The 14-year age, see, there's a terminology they used. My elder brother had a mate in the Masons connection of Freemasonry in the religious occult, and he wasn't a foster dad at the time, and my brother got him to apply, and as soon as he got okayed, him and his wife and the family took my daughter in. I lost my daughter into the care system at 14 because of my brother. Like, what brother does that to you? All because she didn't want to come home because she thought I was paying too much attention to my son for his car accident. But it wasn't her fault because she's manipulated in her mind by my own family. I forgave my mum on her deathbed. I have never really forgave my brother. How could I? It's a work in process. But I forgave my daughter a long time ago. It's not her fault. She's only young. And I know that so many families go through so much themselves. Still do, don't they? So and I remember my old friends. His father was very much into the Masonic Lodge, and he gave me his late father's apron and the medal and the book, the payment book, and a suitcase from 1950s. I don't know what I did to the suitcase. I had the apron at the old house. I don't know what happened to it, but I had the badge, the jewellery. I don't know what happened to it, but I still got the little card from 1950s, a cut-out card where they make the Masonic jewellery in Birmingham, England. And he was a nice male, but he had a bit of a dodgy past. And he was a good man, but he meant well, and he had connections in London in the court system. And one day we drove all the way down there, and he woke up the High Court judge in public law out of his bed, and he was brilliant. I couldn't fault it. It was brilliant. He'd heard our case to get my daughter back to take on these public servants locally, and we tried, and they didn't like it. And I think I pissed off a lot of people. I pissed off a lot of public servants that day because they didn't expect me to rush down to London to get an emergency protection order against my daughter to help her. And instead of, we got passed and we got the public servants down at the High Court at the last minute. That was so funny the way it happened. And not at the time, but I can look back on it. And I think really, a lot of the public servant involvement really started digging in from then on. I think they really needed to be in the bonnet to get revenge in other areas. But one day I should write a book, shouldn't I? Anyway, I'm talking too much. I feel like you're waking. I will send you an email. Please stay strong, you are not alone. Thank you. Blessings to you. Didn't realize the time. I've got to watch the time. A man here in a wheelchair, he goes in the races around the world and travels. Do you know something? I really wonder if he gets sponsored, because I really need to do something positive in the future. No, thank you. Yeah, so minor glabs now. Let's just touch that subject. Is it true? Is it real? Is it military abduction? I want to muddy the water on the discussion of this channel. Minor glabs, military abductions. My experience in UFOs was just that. And my experience as a kid and the fun times we had in haunted houses. Of course, we couldn't do much because of my religious upbringing, but as I've gone on Super Soldiers, I don't know the website name, and people's experiences in hypnotism, and I do know how hypnotism works. I've been hypnotized before. It does help with the trauma. If I could afford it, I will get hypnotized just to get things out. At the moment, I can't, but these casinos are not good places to be in, and I know I've got to make a change. But the thing is, what I say, my labs and the military adoptions is because of my brother's connections. Allegedly. I'd always wondered why we lived in a navy town. We always, I wish they're still there. I met some really nice people, and they were Marines. They were serving on. Had a boyfriend, my first boyfriend, really, a really good boyfriend at the time. Decided to join the Navy, and it's a shame because my early times in my first job, my proper job I had when I left college and stuff, was in a very well-known hotel. I had a lovely life at the time, and not saying it's all been doom and gloom, but I had my own place to live. I had a girlfriend. She was a platonic friend. We shared a place together. We had good jobs. I worked 2 jobs. And I had this boyfriend in the military, well, Navy, And I left home for the first time, and it was great. And I love dancing. This is the thing, I love music. I love, I've always been able to sing and dance. And unfortunately, the trauma of 2002, it blocked it all. It's a psychological block. Oh, I don't know. The way the world is, I think it's all about survival now, practically as well. But I did have all that experience of beautiful sunsets, beautiful romantic experiences, and things I never knew raised in organised occult. And I have had some really nice times over the years. I met some wonderful people, and these people joining the lodges, an ordinary membership Masons, ordinary people meant well, and just because certain jobs they had, they treated me well. Never a problem. And it's never ever been a problem. And the things I started seeing when I decided my lifestyle wasn't quite really a lifestyle that my late mum approved of. And it wasn't kind of a lifestyle that I realised how I got involved in it all was through my ex-husband. And he introduced me to a lifestyle. I wasn't aware I was sucked into it so deep. And it really needed a situation like what happened to me, sadly, to wake me up from it all and to reevaluate my whole life in that sense. And I was forced to do that. The circumstances happened to make me realise that what I was doing was not helping, and it's not the lifestyle and I really want to be in, and I just changed, and I got into politics. I think it was all this years of injustice, I think, when I look back in it all, and it wasn't ideal. I shouldn't really got involved with it all, and I got invited really to media, TV, radio, and all that stuff, which I now know it is very much run by small corporations, well, large corporations worldwide, and certain bloodline families. But I never knew all this years ago. So when I started journalism years ago, and that's how I started meeting people and things. I had no clue what I stumbled across. I had no clue locally what I stumbled across. So I did, and what I know is nothing new because people before me and since that to date, worldwide and nationally in England and obviously in my location, are very much is still going on and much more underground. But mainly some of it's coming to light now. But unfortunately, some of these key people I knew years ago involved are still, and they're in very high positions in public life, and I cannot ever speak about it. So am I really a threat to anyone? Nope. I'm no threat to nobody. But unfortunately, Stuart's got a bee in his bonnet. And it's his problem, not mine. And so there you go. And yeah, so basically my little labs, I'm the reptilian. I mentioned about the military and the Navy because over the years, I don't know, I just stumbled across things. And I realised that when I recorded me sleeping, it's not like a natural sleep, and the sounds I'm picking up, and when Super Soldier program their videos, their websites, the people, and they talk about how it's done and advanced technology, I can believe advanced technologies that were in this earth. I can imagine that the crystal, how they made the Egyptian pyramids, for example, and I can fully comprehend the theory of the different races, not necessarily the false agenda of the alien agenda, and the Project Bluebeam, and much more now. So educateyourself.org is up the top of streaming. One can research Project Paperclip and go further into it all you want. But the minor labs and the terminology, what it stands for, when I stumbled across subjects of black goo, and when I saw a video of some of it was found in ancient tomb of a pyramid in Egypt, and somebody did a mini documentaries, this is centuries old. There's so much of life itself on Earth that's not really known, and the mysteries, and I do believe it's very important independently to watch YouTube channel called Bill Cooper, the late Bill Cooper in the late 90s, ex-military USA intelligence Navy officers. He was radio shows. He knew a lot of stuff years ago. He researched, and he sadly died. And many good people has got information out, and they've researched and passed away, but left a legacy behind. And I began learning certain subjects. I never took or even considered the path of law, only because I needed to know what I'm dealing with in a practical sense in my personal life. And anyway, the healing of my daughter, for example, 2014, well, we just made amends, but unfortunately, the strength of this program still gets. I basically, in a nutshell, my ex-military brother manipulated my daughter in ways I won't repeat here. I found out, and did it to my son. And that's where my son wasn't too great for a couple of years. And that's why I unconditionally helped him out best I could. But I'd realised, in the help of my moderator earlier, Mo Smith, and others, focus on myself. I did try all this, you see, these public servants in 20. When they were in my home caring for me, I couldn't take it no more. The physical harm was too much. And I reported everything. Dates, times, who, by, what, and how. And nobody believed me. And it's like, what? So that's why I began so much learning education, the subjects I did. And by 2014, I had no choice. I had no choice but to reject the offer. And so what? Just because it's non-public funded, my private arrangements are just that. Nobody's else's business, but they want to make it their business, don't they? And so that's why it began the setups in 2015, 16, 17 to date, what I was saying earlier. I really don't know how on earth they can use such technology on the minds of men and women and children on this earth. So when I stumbled across the subject in my labs, it made a lot of sense. Still, I need a lot more evidence though. And I'm one for facts. First-hand evidence I can get my hands on, so to speak. And when I found out that it doesn't matter what kind of world we're living in, everything's by contracts. You know, and the world we're living in now, what communism? I thought that's China. And yet they want to bring it onto the world. the one world governance, the one world currency. And when you know what the monetary system's about currently, it's all based on maritime law of the sea. And brilliant people out there has been getting information out for years about it. And it's all based on the birth certificate, the trust account. When you learn about the straw man, it's nothing to do with straw man of the lands theory. I've learned that mistake a long time ago. And when you have this knowledge and internet, and it's like, wow. And then I learned to do the stamp duty in that subject. So I learned how to do things and documents correctly, and then I just got bombarded with everything, with documents responding and emails. And this was a part of the NK Ultra program for me, to get me bombarded. Like I remember it was years ago, paperwork, when I had my old house broken into, and I had to try their paperwork, and it dawned on me, I've been in this program for longer than I anticipated. Oh, hi Tanya. Did they take Bill Cooper's? Oh, no, cup of tea. Sorry, hold on. Bill Cooper is a YouTube channel, Tanya, and no, the website I can't remember the name of, and I really just used to watch the videos a lot. So I'm in a piece of cake. I'm in a melon. Bill Cooper, you know, there's a YouTube channel with the name Bill Cooper, and it's still got a lot of his old videos up, which he used to have on his website. It when you look at some of the videos and they're old, okay, some of the information, it's like telling us, the public, what's going on in the world now, basically. And he was a man ahead of his time, obviously, and they had to do away with it. So surely one is seen as a threat to the system, then they're implying we've got to get rid of that individual. I don't know, but it just seems like that. So, and obviously with the use of artificial intelligence, and even in this platform, anybody could be anybody, can't they? So they want to create the avatar, don't they? So you have a physical you, individual, and you have the avatar. Digital online presence. The thing is, Bill Cooper didn't mention too much about the future on digital currency and the digital online presence of everything. But he was spot on with a lot of other things. He did quote about the false alien invasion. He did go into detail about that. Bill Cooper's YouTube channel, whoever's uploading the videos, I found that very important, because what I noticed about the weather and the skies being prepared, very light blue colour. You know, what I see with my own eyes, and not just on video, you know, on weather cams, The whole planet has been affected. Yes, Tanya. Yeah, absolutely. So when you see these TV shows or movies about alien invasion, it's all just to get the public and the psychological tactics to perceive there might be that happening. There could be that happening, Area 51, etc. But when Bill Cooper explained that's the intention, the Illuminati and the goal 21, what was it, the cards? Was it 21 cards? And then they've got to create a major disaster event in the world to create the world coming together as one. And all the terminology all together. And when you look at the psychological tactics of words and definitions, it does come across the perception as the ultimate. I've got a printout from years ago of a website and about the triangle pyramid of the one world government, our hierarchy. And at the top, you'll see an eye. And when you break that down, especially the top level, the next level down is banking industry, then private corporations, and then the governments, they call it. And these government puppets, political claim to be public choice to vote or whatever. No, they're controlled. They're told what to do. And, like Deborah Devado. Is it Deborah Devado? Her YouTube channel and videos about Agenda 2030, etc. So I've always kept that in my bag, just a reminder, a piece of paper, just in case the internet goes. Because you just don't know the blackouts. Look at the weather in America right now, and like yourselves in Australia, with the temperatures, extreme hot temperatures. So, and there's like those videos warning about food prices. Oh my gosh. In less than a week, they've gone up half price, extra. So, thank you, Tanya. It's hard. What's the time for you? Is it, I don't know. Is it early morning for you? Or late in the evening? You're a day ahead, aren't you? It's going to be hard to focus. The whole world is changing. Oh wow. Did you wake up early as well? Or did they keep you awake with sleep deprivation, Tanya? 9:40 in the morning. They woke me up too early. They woke me up yesterday, 5 a.m. Today, 8:30 in the morning. With the technology, sleep now trauma. It's like yesterday, I never go out twice in a day like that to do my documents. Where suddenly have the energy from, I don't know. And obviously they must have planned all this to have the email today to trigger me off. You see, my income changes in March. It's all timed, not greatly, because on the 21st of the 2nd, 2022, my income stops, and then I've got 2 weeks to wait for another payment. Out of 130, I've got the gas, electric, and all that stuff to pay. I still got to pay that, even if I'm even in a temporary manner. But I can't afford to do that because they can quite easily turn around and say, we found another problem, we think you need to move out completely. That means no home. And I cannot do what their requirement is, because on my computer they've completely gone to the hard drive. I can't even close the laptop lid down. They've damaged it completely, and I can't afford a new one. So I have to learn how to use a smartphone, the new contract phone, and I have to budget very, very carefully, like Mummy was saying, to pay for this smartphone that's with a data plan for a 3-year contract. Because I noticed before, if I end up God knows where, Tanya, and there's serious note that I need access to the internet independently, and on the smartphone with the data plan I've got, if I'm very careful, I won't be able to stream as much, but I might be able to just get the odd video uploaded and stuff like that. And document, I've got to set up a new channel. I'll keep it a similar name so people know. I will link it to this channel so people know where to find me. And I'm going to start putting my face on camera. I've got nothing to lose anymore. I'm going to say, well, this is my life. And I'm just not going to mention too much about, I'm just going to mention about trauma and how it affects your life, and how this is how I've been treated, and how I'm trying to just, in difficult times the world is in now, and just keep it like a blog video and upload the odd video or two. I know powers that be might block it, but I might try it. Yeah, exactly. Never sleep, always tired. Sorry to hear that. It's like this app, right? No matter what devices we get, they get hacked into, isn't it? I don't know what kind of phone you got. I couldn't even get on with iPhones. But this was the one, Samsung. But it's all about control, yes, like you said, Tanya. It's all about money, isn't it? And when you look at understand the monetary system, they want everything to go digital. This is where my son's trading on Megaverse technology and not Bitcoin. And it's a bit of all different digital currency. If the internet gets pulled away, if there's a power cut for internet, the mining of the digital currency system will go. And also, in England, there's a policy out recently about anyone that gets transactions by digital currency seen as capital gain taxes. If you're in my situation, like my son is in his situation, right? And no matter what bank you use, everything is traceable. Every transaction is traceable. So when people pay by their phones, all these big corporations, Google Pay app and whatever apps, when you look at, and not everyone looks at terms and conditions, but when I did briefly skim through, they're usually based in Silicon Valley in America, these companies, and it's all controlled. And Amazon, like SHP, she done something about exposing a lot of this. And Amazon, data mining, in conjunction with Google, in conjunction with something else, I can't remember specifics, but I thought, oh my God. So how on earth, I said before my son stopped talking to me, how on earth do you cope knowing that there's a reality, physical life, and my phone's been hacked? Wow, they just try and hack my phone there. You understand they are brainwashing your son, and he is a young man, and a TI too. Exactly, Tanya. This is why I said, right, and done. I'll keep a journal. Does it make sense or some? But I've linked up the date. I'll keep the diary, and I found my 2017 diary as well. Is he's behind what? They're so desperate. Yeah, he is sadly. That's the truth about the Avatar. The Avatar movie. I mean, it's all symbolism, isn't it? So the Avatar movie, symbolising what they really want to do is create this virtual reality, isn't it? So you're stuck in a four walls in a smart little apartment, perhaps, and hacked. Everything's trackable. That if you take a certain whatever, I can't say too much on that subject, but it's hackable. I'm getting my hair radiated, my body radiated. I'm getting my hair like straw. You see that video? It's really horrible. And I said to him one time, I said, I saw this program called Upload, like an Amazon type thing like Netflix. And it's about uploading this consciousness to a supercomputer, like a computer, and it's monitored by a corporation, and that family is still alive pays a certain fee for that dead family's consciousness upload to this program, and they could put the virtual headset on and be in that world with them, and actually, literally, it is virtual reality software type of technology. And in that program called Upload, what you don't see in the digital world, you see the physical body, and you've got the sensory equipment, the suit you put on. You can touch your body if you're with a partner, or ex-husband, or husband, whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend scenario. And then the script in the movie and the TV shows. There's been TV shows as well, and was hinting to that, the future of that. And then there was all these futuristic type TV shows and movies hinting so much like this, similar subjects. And so I said to him about, well, you're promoting megaverse. Do you realise what company's behind it? And what is the physics, the atoms and the use of technology or brain interface? I shared some not links, but he took no notice. The Neuralink he's really keen about with Elon Musk. He's very much a fan of Elon Musk, I should say. And I'm warning him about this. And his brain works 10 to a dozen, Tanya. His brain works is like an overdrive. And I know they use him for this intelligence he has. He's always been intelligent as a child, growing up as a teenager. And yet I don't know part of his life, what he went through and how it's affected him by this ex. And I don't really know how much of it's true, but I've got all these old texts and messages of how he's gone through. But he don't, it's like his mind's controlled, but he's told not to trust me. Yeah? So, yeah, I've helped him out financially in 2001. Beginning of that year and end of 2020 and the end of 2019. And it's a lot I helped him out with, unconditionally, as a mum. But when it's really important for me to have someone at least to talk to see how I am and how I'm going through, maybe not able to do much, but it's talk to, he's never been there for me. So now I know that they turn your family against you, and they can imply, I've noticed this with the AI, that now I know about how they can do that, imply that when I see a message on Twitter, he posts that on a social media on his platform, but he can't share it with his own mum. And I'm the grandmum. Is that meant to trigger a negative reaction? Yeah, of course it is. So I see it and I just share it on my private saved message for my own private use and shared it to you in a private message. And just to say, well, I do have a family, but yet I don't have a personal relationship with them. And I know they used him back in March 2021 and to date, and May 2021 to gaslight me physically, and I really didn't want to accept it for what he did to me outside my flat when I met up with my granddaughter. What they did in front of that public building outside my flat, in front of everybody, coughing their guts out, doing the coughing so loud, and I took no notice because my wheelchair was playing up, but I knew they were trained so well to do that, and my granddaughter was trained to do that. And then when he didn't show any respect to call me to let me know he's still coming up to visit me in May last year, he didn't text or anything, and I'm in the middle of getting care, and he comes up and takes a picture of that very neighbour at number 2, his car, and he's outside at 12:30. Because how I found out certain things about it, I can't make public here. So I thought, stuff it, I'm still going up to the post office, and if he's up there to see me, I will still try and contact him to see if he arrived in the area, the hotel. And he didn't choose the local hotel in my area. He chose one called Jury's Inn. It's all symbolism. And when I saw these pictures, and when I was trying to contact him, is he still coming up? Because before that, he was gaslighting me on Twitter.
and messaging me on WhatsApp, the comments, trying to accuse me of things I haven't even done. And that's been a pattern of events. And then, I mean, I've got these printouts. You see, I've got too much paperwork I haven't been able to file in organised fashion because I've got no space in my bedroom in that regard, or the lounge, because what they haven't prepared. So it doesn't look great. So the evidence I've still stored somewhere as well. And I have to have hard copies, not just online. But he's right. When I told him I've got hacked my computer, I can't afford a new one. When he had his compensation, did he offer me to lend me 200 quid or something to get a cheap second-hand one? No. So it's all been one-sided. And so when he was set up by public servants in my area to phone me on WhatsApp at 9:30 in the morning when I'm asleep, I know full well that I can't take calls. He knows this. I never do calls, let alone video calls with any public servant. Just not able to. And so my disability affects me that way. And then I could talk on here, but I've got it's a total distrust of public servants. I can't talk to them, let alone meet them, let alone video call. I can't deal with it anymore. So there, and then he's like sets me up and targets me and gaslights me, and then he also has things happening to him. But I've got no first-hand knowledge what's really going on with his so-called wife. So when he does bother to, over a period of time, message me, I do know he's being targeted by the facial hair, his eyes, experience, the way he talks. But I've also had to record a couple of calls because he's been doing a copy and gaslighting phone. But I know the mind control technology can make people do that too. So, but when he came up to see me, he deliberately was using his headlights to brighten me, you know. And I am now aware how they can use the neuromonitoring to target people to do that too. And those people won't be aware they're doing it. So I now know that part. So I'm not too bothered about that. But yeah, I've just kept a diary. I've just kept details. I've written it down offline, just what happened. They set it up that way about your son. His life is all a mapped out ready. Yes, Tanya. That reminds me of a film I saw. Not just a Truman Show, but yes. About the trolls earlier. Can you see the trolls in this chat, Tanya? Yeah, I do strongly believe that. I think his life. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, Tanya, because when I look back on my life, it's like I got this. I had a home invasion the other day, right? All this set up and not getting my medical equipment service in the year 2020 to date, despite all my emails, is to make me look incompetent. So what you say about this, I like to map out. My past experiences to where I am now, the politics, TV, media, the traumas, etc., etc. And here I go, again being traumatized, again being implied to lose my home, make me homeless, being implied if I'm going to be made homeless, Tanya, into this system where we are now in England. a world now, isn't it, what's going on with a certain subject I can't really mention about, but I'm forced to take that. I won't be living, I won't survive it. With my physical health, I won't be able to survive it. I'll be passed away. I can't, I have to fight, like in the earlier stream, and the spiritual motivation videos. It's fighting these demonic entities. It's a fight. I've been fighting. We're fighting our lives for our lives, aren't we? And we're not fighting against the flesh and blood. I'm not expert in the scripture version of explanations, but it's true. Our life is a stage. The world's a stage. It's more like the Truman Show. And they can make them do it, yes. Yeah. So it's a bit like when you say life's a matter out already, the Truman Show just comes to mind. I'm doing a vitamin C drink at the moment. Because when this traumatizing sensation, right, it gets into glands and it makes my body weak. And when I feel weak and stressed like this, I'm prone to being run down. And that's where the radiation frequencies will attack the body more and make you ill. So I've got to keep drinking. I'll have a pasty just for a snack and a fresh up. Can't be bothered with anything else. It's shock, isn't it? Shock. Just reminded me. I had a home invasion the other day, and I wondered why they were looking into my bookshelf in the lounge. I got a diary, 2017. When they killed your real father, they said he would have 2 weeks to live. He helped himself live 17 years. Wow. Sorry to hear that, Tanya. Right. Yeah. So one called Liz in this home group limited company. And just look up specific points. August, September. Right, Wednesday the 30th of October. An email, Lisa, Home Group Limited. She's now a PA to CEO. Right, the night before, she said, Home Group Limited, right. Northampton Flooring Limited to come to this flat, reference a wet room flooring, at 12:30 to 5 p.m. Then there will be a Mighty Property Services Limited agent. I printed out the emails.
Last call to Lisa at 2:50 p.m. because the individual that came, and this is my written evidence, that's how my father got sick. Microwave weapons, many years on the farm. God, I'm sorry to hear that, yeah. So sorry to hear that. I'm just looking at these tapes. My two voice messages were Northampton Flooring Limited. My data was shared by Mighty Property Services Limited without me knowing about it. Tuesday, 29th of August 2017. Email Lisa. What is next for the offer of the floor repair and i.e. wet room? As Mighty Property Services Limited have tried odd job mail as out of hours had not made safe the floor. Tuesday, 29th of August 2017, they did not repair the floor, which they offered to do. I had an iPad then, didn't I? It broke. Yes, I remember dealing with, in my area, what it was then, Section 11B. What's that related to? Let's have a look. I had a mobile phone company cause me problems. So there's an individual gaslighting me, 4 p.m, called Chris, won't mention the last information. Failed to help me. Oh, here she pops up again. A woman called Helen, a maintenance surveyor, apparently the housing company. Area maintenance. She was called then supervisor, surveyor. I wonder why she was setting me up into March 2021 to date. She had the correct email. Okay, it's not changed. Date Wednesday, 23rd of August 2017. And it reads, reference in line with the National Housing Company Home Group Limited. Reference my email at 6:50 p.m. and that's reference I've got it. A Fiona Wilson, a Fiona individual, goes back to that time, reference an OT report. But they've had all this on file past years already. Wow. And she's still, all these years, employed in 2021, 2022 plus. Right. And the next day, 24th of August 2017, Mighty Properties Limited not changed the main entry doors to make it safe because somebody damaged them then. I was disadvantaged to lack to access then, and the failures, and I've made notes. Let me go back the day before. Key dates. Yeah, and I was dealing at the same time with Systems of Iceborough Limited, a woman called Claire. Wishing me to get, I was on a different type of DNA,
to go and get PIP, a different type of disability benefit. Right, let's have a look. Again, I've got an entry date 21st of August 2017. Well, this is where it was all set up when I was set up. Voice Ability Limited Company, NCC Limited, and the medical company in my area, Langham Place LLP. Now they are taking my whole family lives with. I'm so sorry to hear that, Tanya. I'm sending love, hugs and prayers to you and your family too. Blessings. I was blocked to other medical deliveries. So if your issue keeps popping up, let's have a look at the dates. Yeah, let's go back further. Debt management, yeah, they're trying to set me up to do another subject, taking the debt matter. But I knew about certain subjects of law. Let's have a look. My email back to Lisa again, 3:30, 4 o'clock time, Friday, 18th of 8th, 2017. Lisa's email. I have a bathroom and sink. She says something to do. I can't make out the words. What else? I'm just tying up the dates. Right, yeah, I was set up in 16th Wednesday 2017. A guy called, he was the CEO, Martin Lord, and he was connected to the CEO. I was inquiring about the dent infection I was having there too, and the head of the service. They were cold calling at my home, 5 to 8 p.m. unknown to me. 8 p.m. They were like looking through my letterbox, and I was bedbound. So I made a complaint about that. That's the medical side. Then the financial side, citizens advice in my area. Wow. To set up, wow, there's an email, you see. Wow, I was having it all going on then. Let's have a look. NHS Healthcare Foundation Trust. There you go. Limited company, I found out. And who's involved there. Wow. Citizens Advice, limited company as well. All in August, this is 2017. Emails, the housing as well. My son moved to Sussex, South UK. I'm just looking at notes.
Number 9. Yeah, that gaslight is a number 9 were around. Wow. Well, he moved, I don't know how long, his so-called wife was on the scene, Sinead. He was moving to South UK. Let's have a look what's going on. And my friend with learning disability, Teresa, was stopped seeing me. She wouldn't the doctor coming down to me. Oh, here we go. 11th of Friday, August 2017. 2 men, Mighty Property Services Limited, 230, saw, I'm just reading my notes. They took photos of the job at 4:30 to 5, but they were told not to do any work. So I called, as I was promised, by the area department called Diana Rose. And they, she's a housing employee at the time. Don't know if she's still employed all these years on. Yeah. I was run down. I didn't know about targeted subject in 2017. Oh yes, all these lawyers are contacted about certain subjects. I can't remember right this minute. Oh yeah, I remember. A financial issue they're trying to set me up with. Everybody wouldn't help, no matter who I called. Then oh, here we go. This is when the dental infection was confirmed as well. 8th of August 2017. Jenny something down in, I don't know what it's like now, but I had to have dental treatment. She offered a home visit. The general hospital, same contract and primary care at the time. Oh yeah, and also contacted lawyers pro bono about the sentence of ice, and that was a debt matter, alleged debt matter, and they wouldn't help either. Wow, I had a lot going on then. Then on the 7th of August 2017, Adrian, the rep, to email Northampton Flooring, repair departments, emailed Home Group Limited, no information on my illness, complex disabilities, infection, and the lack of a kitchen something, sink, plumbing, gaslighting outside the noise campaign, difficulty explaining the nature of my friend's ex came to have a look at the sink. Oh yeah, that's it. And the locks. And he's Russian. He's very good. Well, this is a busy day. Here we go. Friday, the 8th of August 2017. Emailed NHS England the lack of offer dental services. Oh, that's where it began. B. Wilson, he doesn't work there now, for transport. The company Thames Ambulance Service Limited, my email. And then it was community law service, and then trying to get a CCJ against me for something I didn't owe in the end, I found out. Then the complaints department of the hospital, she didn't do nothing either, about me lack of able to access a referral to the services, i.e. dental operation services. That went on to 2018. And the operations. Okay, then here is an email, 3 PM. Oh, they were set me up all right, the mental health card. Voice Ability Limited is contracted by, at then, NCC Limited in only hours. They were all contracted together, the national company. Wow. And they tried to push her back onto me in 2018. Oh yeah, and then they tried to imply I had a debt of Anglo Water Services Limited 2017. So you can see I built up credit over the period of time from that experience of 2017 to date. And now they're trying to make sure I don't have any finances. I don't believe it's correct out of the try to take the amount owed out of the GWP income. Yes. 5 years worth. Since 2012, 3,500. Yeah. Yeah. I see now because I didn't know about the targeted program in 2017. Set up for year 8. Let me have a look. Oh, right, here we go. The dental infection was still there, of course, on the 1st of August 2017. Voice Ability Limited is funded by the NCC Limited company at the time, public funded in my area. Also left a message for no-show of an ambulance, non-emergency, to get me to hospital for my dental appointment. So I looked at specialists in London. Wow, it's all going on. My friend emailed these, at the time, a female called Lisa for me at 10:30 in the morning, 31st Monday, 2017, housing company agent. Then the managing director called Ross at Northampton Flooring Limited came to my flat at 1 o'clock to do an assessment on the bathroom floor of the wet room, and took A3 of 50 the whole week. He said it would take a whole week to do, to take up the floorboarding and relay a new flooring, and that's all that was going to be needed. At 2:50, the woman called Lisa, Home Group Limited,
Let's have a look. That's just a quick notes. Now I'm going into July. Yeah, they tried to set me up on debt matter I didn't own in my area as well. What date? Thursday, 27th July 2017. Yeah, trying to set aside the assumption of a debt I didn't own. That was by a PLC company. Okay, so here we go again. I tried to see if anybody could assist to get a remedy. The NHS England Limited Procedure Complaint System. This one called Patty failed me. Voice Ability Limited in my area. On the EMS East Midlands Ambulance Service Limited complaint. That was them training set me up an assumption about private life back in March. All the 9 documents I ended up doing myself with rebuttals. Right, the claims on 21st of July 2017, Ketching area. Royal Show offers, wrong dates, something to do with access. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, the guy who used to work for this company for wheelchair service Storm was out for at the time, but he's now left and retired. That's going on in July. Look at that key points. Okay, reference to my family now. 19th of July 2017. On Facebook Messenger at 10:30. My brother Doug was using it to update my sister Sharon, who used an old mobile number on reference to do with my late mum being in hospital again. And then my brother had went to Cornwall, claimed to be on holiday. In that year, she was 82. They were building up a picture of her being in and out of hospital that year. I have the letters. I've still got the letters. Right, 18th of July 2017. Okay, Voice Ability Limited still. She's still pushing me on the to holding a meeting with the former CEO, NCC Limited, and comments about me, and that was all to do with the false presumptions. 17th of March 2017. Adult safeguarding. They've never closed it all these years, despite my 9 rebuttals of documentation. I will go pinpoint The home invasion, which I didn't know about what that was at the time. My goodness me. I sent my sister on the 14th of July 2017 at the time, who was talking to me then, photos of all my old friends, not all of them. Try to look at all needs something. My friends are trying to cook a meal. Okay, I've been talking to my sister now. Yeah, that's a red phone, yeah, right. I'm just looking at dates of 12th, Wednesday the 12th of 7th, 2017. Right, donate to NCC Limited to correction of data protection records, because that's what I got them on, data protection and breach of incorrect information. So Tuesday the 11th July 2017. Right. A Mighty Property Services Limited reference to the kitchen fan, which they did not put a new one in. They were going to put a new one in, and all they did was have a look at it as a job reference number. 2 unknown men, electrician company, Mighty PLC, MK office. A hazard, it's like a buzzing noise from the fan. They were saying mails from last Thursday, the 6th of July 2017, and were implied not to replace the kitchen fan in 2017. So why did you public individuals Helen Group Limited Company in 2017, 2021, 2018, take 4 years from this date to email me imply there's a job required? What, 4 years on? When I've got no record of any job requirement. So, so there was a job fraudulently raised or something that wasn't due from 4 years ago. And then there was a notice on the wall about fire safety hallway. Right. And then this is when I had the home invasion. Well, this is when I reported the repair to the wet room in my diary of 10th of July, a Monday, 2017. At the same time, 9 AM, Stuart at number 2 is right on the phone to Home Group Limited to report the gate damage or something outside. And he's always been like that ever since. I'll go down to... And then I noticed a plaster loose in the bedroom. Let's have a look, go down. And the seal crack in the floor. Don't know which bedroom or where that was. So let's have a look on that date when I reported to the... Yes, this is it. At 5 PM, I spoke to somebody at the call centre for Home Group Limited. She's called Rini, and she put not to be treated as an urgent repair. The slit, the small, very small slit in the lino covering on the wet room floor. The call was recorded.
And my female friend co-copied the information in an email. That's when I had the home invasion. Leading up to that, what was happening? Stuart again verbally said to my friends and words a reference and personal comments using slandering words, and I informed him to cease and desist from that. So and there was no, was there snow? No. So my friends came and saw there was something to do with 12:30 rear intercom bin area, right side, the bench side of it got broken or something. Stuart closed it again and slammed it. Who started gaslighting me there? And leading up to going back and leading up to that date, what's going on in my diary? Yeah, I thought so. Still in July the 6th. I thought so. They set me up with a mental health card with public service Mayor Cortina D. I won't mention the last information. Such assumptions about my private dwelling. And I had no correspondence from Criminal Injuries Compensation Ltd or its agents, or Ministry of Justice Limited Company or its agents at all. Now my letter to Langham Place LLP agent called Guy Brian, partner he was, can't remember whether it's to get a referral for the dental side. Now on 4th of July, no email. Lisa's housing local agent, Home Group Limited. She's got the reference number for what replacement? I was trying to get a dental specialist at the time. Let's have a look. There's a female called Trina who's blaming me for something. Property Services Limited, it doesn't exist anymore, the company. Going back from 26th of January 2017. And I don't know what that job was for. My rebuttal, that's what it did, you see. I made a full rebuttal of 9 letters to each CEO, public funded companies in my area, of complaints that adult claimed to be then. And it was last dated at that time, 29th of June 2017. NBC Limited, other public funded companies, and sure enough, a few days later, I had a home invasion on 10th July 2017. And that damaged the floor in the wet room, and that began the saga all these years on. Oh, you are? Okay. I'll just finish off. Thank you, Mike. And I'll come on. And just found my diary of all the dates. Everything links up from March to my dental. When I had that dental infection in 2017, it was all definitely to use the mental health assumption and to get me out the flat. And there's found all the key diaries anyway. At least I found it. And he's enrolled to date, still to date.
So I'll come off here and I'll end the stream now and come on to support nappy. Okay. So there's my diary. And that will help to show practically try to find a remedy. Blessings to you. Call me targeted individuals. Let me highlight that. On he's playing a podcast, but right. Thank you. Blessings to all those going through this. Thank you ever so much, Mo and Murray. God bless anybody else. So not the trolls, but blessings. I will now go over to the highlighted channel. This is about black magic. Thank you, Mo. Blessings to you. Let me go check it out now.